Hello, I'm Rachel Jones for the Finance News Network. Joining me today from Lake Resources is Managing Director Steve Promnitz. Steve, welcome back.
Thank you very much, Rachel.
Lake Resources is developing a number of lithium brine projects in Argentina. What can you tell me about these?
We're focused on Argentina, and that's because Argentina and Chile produce half the world's lithium. We have 4 projects there, 3 brine projects and a hard rock project. We're currently drilling the brine projects, and we'll be getting a lot of news flow about results, resources, strategic partnerships over this year. But the best thing is we're located next to current producers. It's not moose pasture, and we actually have a proven value accretion path that we'll be following.
Thanks, Steve. Can you tell me more about the Kachi project?
Right, the Kachi is the one that we're drilling at the moment. We have 3 drill rigs there at the moment. And we'll be releasing results as we go through May into September, October. That leads to a resource statement. What's interesting about Kachi is that we own the entire basin, 100%. And when we go and talk to strategic partners in Korea, in mainland China, in India, that's the attraction. Owning an entire basin that has got lithium results, and this has never been drilled before. We're actually the first off. And the reason for that, it was owned by a number of different parties. So expect a lot of news coming down the path from Kachi.
Can you tell me about the approvals there?
Okay, so the approvals are now all in place. If we go back to last year, we were stepping through various hurdles. Now we have all of our approvals in place, and that's important because we're literally 80 kilometres down the road from one of the current producers who's been going for 20 years. So that's put us in a good position.
And adjacent to Kachi, you have 2 other lithium brine projects. What can you tell me about the time frame for drilling there?
All right, so as we move further north, there's a known producer called Orocobre, which is listed on the ASX. We have a project called Olaroz Cauchari, which is literally right next to them, next to their production, and also next to a development project by SQM. What's interesting about this is we signed a landmark agreement with the province in the end of February. We'd essentially been frozen out of these areas for 2 years while we went through bureaucratic hurdles. Now we're through that. We're just finishing off community discussions and our approval to drill, and somewhere in the next few months we'll be drilling. Why is that important? People literally a sand wedge shot across our lease boundary are producing ore grade results at high flow rates, and I'll be very surprised if we don't produce something similar. And all of these other companies are 10 to 200 times larger in market cap than Lake, so there's plenty of upside.
Now to your financials. You recently completed capital raising of 4.5 million. Who participated, and what does this mean in terms of the timetable for your 3 projects?
It's very important because we are now financed for this calendar year and most likely for the year that's coming. The reason for that is with a $4.5 million in the bank, we now have our drilling program and our resource development and the drilling program that's planned for Olaroz Cauchari. And then during the year, we have options which are in the money. They presumably will convert, and that'll provide another 6 to 7 million in August and again in December. So we're reasonably well set up. And during that time, we then would probably sign some form of strategic arrangement, which will also assist future financing. The people who participated are high net worths. And the reason for that is we still have a market cap of around 35-40 million, but the advantage of that is we're now positioned so that a next raising or a next participation would see institutions and a wider spread around the globe.
And Steve, your projects are based within the lithium triangle. What does this term mean, and what is the importance of that?
All right, the lithium triangle is where, as I mentioned before, half the world's lithium comes from. All of the largest producers are there: Albemarle, SQM, FMC, recently purchased by DuPont, and ourselves. Even the most recent new producer in the field is Orocobre, and they have gone from exploration through development into production, and we would see ourselves going down a similar but perhaps a shorter time frame to do the same thing. Lithium comes from this part of the world. The other thing that is important is it's also the lowest cost producers. The other 40% or so comes from Western Australia, from hard rock producers. And the benefit there is that the capital to open one of these projects is about the same, but the operating costs are generally lower in the lithium triangle.
And last question, Steve, why should investors consider adding Lake Resources to their portfolios?
Electric vehicles are changing the way we live our lives. We don't see it as much in Australia, but if you go to mainland China, Hong Kong, to Europe, electric vehicles are everywhere. The proven technology at the moment is lithium-ion batteries. Half the world's lithium comes from Argentina and Chile. We are positioned right alongside current producers. Their market caps are $200 million or $2 billion. We have a market cap in the $30 or $40 million range. So there's limited downside, significant upside, a lot of news flow coming this year, and potential for strategic partnerships which will remove some of the financing risk. So I think there's significant reason. And last of all, recently in early May, we're actually trading just under our last capital raising price, so it's an opportunity to actually get in under the institutions.
Steve Promnitz, thanks for the update.
Thanks very much, Rachel.